Good morning, student. Today, we are going to take a look at current affairs of 17 November 2025. I will be taking you through a big mix of topics from geopolitics, atmospheric science, violent events in deep space, and even a major literary award. All of these may look unrelated, but together they show how complex our world really is. We'll zoom in and zoom out from a 20-kilometer land corridor in India to a star exploding 133 light years away. This jumping of scale is how we understand the full picture. My aim today is to highlight the most important insights from four very different areas. Why India is quickly building up its military in one vulnerable region, why Delhi's air is becoming a health emergency, what a huge scientific discovery means for life in the universe, and what the latest Booker Prize tells us about the future of literature. This is your shortcut to becoming fully informed. Let's begin on the ground with India's most sensitive land corridor, the Siliguri corridor, the chicken's neck. Many people don't realize how narrow it really is. This corridor in North Bengal is just 22 kilometers wide at its thinnest point. Through this tiny strip passes all civilian supplies and military movement that connect mainland India to its 8 northeastern states. If this corridor is blocked or attacked, the entire northeast gets cut off instantly and becomes dependent only on air support. The geography is tough. Nepal lies on one side, Bangladesh on another, and China is directly north, separated only by Bhutan. Any pressure or attack from Bangladesh or China could cut the corridor. This is why India is urgently building a ring of permanent military bases to protect it. The first is the Lakshadweep Borfukan military station in Assam, near the Bangladesh border, named after a 17th century Ahom general who defeated the Mughals. The second base is at Kishanganj in Bihar to watch over illegal infiltrations and movements near the Bangladesh-Bihar border. The third is the Chopra base in North Bengal near the narrowest part of the corridor, built for rapid military response. Together, these strengthen the Trishakti Corps, which protects this entire region. But what triggered this sudden urgency? Four major reasons come together now. A regime change in Bangladesh that may affect security cooperation, China's increasing influence in the region, including a China-Pakistan-Bangladesh meeting, illegal migration causing demographic changes in Indian border states, and China's aggressive military infrastructure buildup near the LAC. All these create a sense of pressure around this small but critical choke point. Now we move to another flashpoint, the tiny Senkaku Islands, just 6.3 square kilometers, yet capable of starting a major military conflict between China, Japan, and possibly the US. These islands have three different names: Senkaku, Japan; Diaoyuchen; and Diaoyutai, Taiwan. They sit in a strategically important zone near key shipping lanes and possibly large oil and gas reserves. Japan claims legal control since 1895 and says they were returned after US occupation. China and Taiwan argue the islands belong to them historically and that Japan seized them illegally. The US doesn't take a side on ownership, but it recognizes Japanese administration. That means if China uses force, the US must support Japan under their security treaty. This is why even a tiny island could trigger a conflict between nuclear armed nations. Now, let's come back to India's capital and talk about Delhi's air pollution crisis, which is a classic example of a wicked problem, no single solution, many causes, and any fix often creates new problems. Delhi's air quality index often crosses 400 or even 500, levels that are dangerous. Long-term exposure to this pollution reduces life expectancy by up to 10 years. It affects the heart, lungs, DNA, immune system, and even children's brain development. Economically, air pollution costs India nearly 1.36% of its GDP every year. Several natural and human factors worsen the situation. Delhi is shaped like a basin, and the Aravalli Hills trap the polluted air. In winter, temperature inversions trap pollutants close to the ground. Human causes include over 33 million vehicles, construction dust, factories in surrounding states, and stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana. Blame gets passed around Delhi, blames the states blame the farmers, and farmers burn stubble because cheaper options are limited. However, now there is an opportunity because the same political party governs the center and all key states. This allows for a unified regional plan called airshed management, where the whole region is treated as one system. Models from Germany, London, and Beijing show that strong coordinated action can reduce pollution, but it requires political will and public support. Now we zoom out 133 light years into space. Scientists have observed, for the first time, a coronal mass ejection (CME) on a star other than our Sun. A CME is a massive explosion of magnetized plasma. On our Sun, they can affect satellites and power grids. But this CME from the red dwarf star STK-M 1-1262 was 10,000 times stronger than any solar CME recorded. This discovery was made using the LOFAR radio telescope array. It was difficult because the signals are extremely weak and short-lived. Scientists had to create a new data filtering system to detect it. Red dwarfs are small but extremely magnetically active, and this suggests many of them might be constantly releasing violent CMEs. This has huge implications for life in the universe. If planets around red dwarfs are constantly hit by such storms, their atmospheres can be stripped away, leaving no water, no protection, and no chance for life. It means the most common type of star in the universe may also be one of the most dangerous for planets. Finally, we return to Earth for something human and creative, the Booker Prize, one of the most prestigious fiction awards in the English speaking world. The 2025 winner is David Saleh for his novel Times Flesh Asterisk. The book explores poverty, migration, and whether financial success truly heals past trauma. The judges praised his clear, powerful writing and emotional depth. The Booker Prize has existed since 1969. It is open to any author writing originally in English and published in the UK or Ireland. Since 2014, writers of all nationalities are eligible, which was controversial because it allowed American authors to compete. The International Booker Prize is separate, it celebrates translated fiction, and the prize money is shared between author and translator. The Booker has also consistently supported writers from the Indian diaspora, including Naipaul, Rushdie, Roy, and Desai, helping bring their voices to global attention. So, what connects all these topics? A single theme: vulnerability versus control. India's narrow corridor is vulnerable. Delhi's air quality is vulnerable to policy failures. Planets are vulnerable to violent stars. Even literature captures how humans navigate these vulnerabilities. Sometimes we feel we have no control, like in the case of violent stars. But many problems, like Delhi's pollution, can be changed when political will and individual behavior align. You now know how airshed management works and what global models show. When there is finally political alignment, the question becomes what individual actions and public support are needed for real, lasting change.